All right. Hello, everyone. We are here for the season 3 wrap party. Are we in the right place?
I think we're in the right
I
place. I don't know where else we would be.
neither do I, but feel like I have to do a bit. So Virginia's here. Oh, Virginia's here. That's the way I need to gesture. That is totally counterintuitive,
Oh,
but whatever.
hey, there's
Yeah, I think it's
right,
mirrored for. I think it's mirrored
Trevor.
for both of us. This is excellent.
This is great.
I mean, we're definitely in
Yes.
the same space together. This is everything is normal here.
Can't you tell by how the lighting is exactly the same?
Yes, yes, and the video quality, and
Yeah, my video quality looks awful. Oh my god.
it's because it's we're basically feeding Zoom into into OBS into YouTube. So
Right,
I think there's about 3 different layers of video compression working against you there, Virginia.
right. Can everyone hear us all right? Do we sound decent? Which I think is it's right now it's just a little mini cast party,
Yeah,
it seems.
excellent. Oh,
Sweet.
and
Hello,
Neil,
Neil.
welcome, welcome. Okay, great.
Fantastic.
I
Yeah,
hope
our
every
glasses do match a little bit now.
yes,
Mine have
yes.
straight edges on them,
Mm-hmm.
technically.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hype man. Oh,
Oh,
hello.
my brother's here.
Oh, is that Chris?
And Virginia sure is. Hello,
Uh,
Chris Hubbard.
hello, hello. Welcome, the voice of the ISFA announcer.
Yes, the Merryweather voice in the
Yes,
in the echoey deep.
yes. Oh, this is excellent. There's people here. There's people on the live stream.
Yay! Hello,
Oh, and
Trinket
hello,
Turner.
Trinket. Hello, hello. Okay, gosh, there are. See, this is what happens when we go.
People,
Yes,
there's people here. Yeah,
I don't want to sound,
excuse me.
unappreciative for the Patreon live streams and all the Discord goodness there, but it's it sometimes is just me and 2 other people on a good night.
Right. Let's see. I've had family members.
I've
Yeah.
had my dad
You,
voiced one of the
yes.
commissioners in season 1, so yep,
Ezra, so that's three at
yeah,
least.
mhm,
Well, we can count Erin because her husband plays
mhm,
her agent.
yep.
Um, and
I mean, we
hmm,
already counted
that
you, but
might be it.
Conrad did have a very brief cameo in season 2,
Yes.
but yeah,
Um, yeah, four of us. Four of
fun
us have had
fun
our
stuff.
family on
Yep.
the show.
It's
Hmm.
better than like I was thinking back to like the short films I used to make in high school, which yeah, that was the cast was largely made up of my my brother and sister and their friends
Yep.
because
That's
I
how
was a
that's how it
little
goes with
little
early
socially
stuff.
awkward baby back then. I mean,
Yeah.
was
You've evolved into new forms.
yes, new forms of awkward.
Oh, I would love for little Ezra's son to come back as little
Yes,
Andrew.
please.
So
I
precious.
just he did such an amazing job, Ezra, with those final scenes
Hmm.
in 71. That was or yeah 71 was just absolutely precious and just
Yeah.
heartbreaking and yeah. Oh, Maurice.
Maurice!
Excellent.
Amazing.
So many people, so many cool people.
Awesome. Yes, we will find a way to write little Andrew into season 4 or something else.
God,
I'm
now,
sure
now
I'm
this
sure
feels like a
Kate will
party.
be
Maurice
keeping
is
her
here.
promise
Yeah,
to keep in touch with people. Yeah.
yeah.
So many cast members here. This is great. How's everyone doing tonight? No complaints? We're glad you're here.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to be here. I will be partially eating my dinner sometimes with my camera off. Don't worry. That's not part, you have to pay extra for that. If you're a $15 a month patron or up, I
I
will
just want to
send you
go
a
on. No,
private
no,
stream.
no, Virginia.
Just kidding.
Uh,
Well, thank you for saying this is fun. I'm having that's on her only food account. Thanks, Chris.
Right.
Thank you, brother. That's great. You can be my agent. Okay.
Oh gosh, yes, lively and fun. Other words for just unbridled chaos. Which is, if you're on our Patreon and you listen to the patron podcast, that is just our brand. So
That's what this is.
Yes.
This is what we do every week. Yes.
Just rambly nonsense for hours on end.
Hours on end is an exaggeration, unless you listen to them back to back.
Yes.
Then
I don't know.
You could have us in your ear holes as much as you want.
I'm thinking of like the one we did for Flight of the Bumblebee with Madeline. That went on for quite a while.
Oh, that did. And then we made some jokes about cocaine. Cocaine. I remember that as well. Bowl and blow, something like that. I don't remember even why that came up, but I saw someone reference it on Twitter, and that made me laugh.
Pictures of Coke at the bowling alley, and I unnecessarily
yeah, that's right.
Clarified Coca-Cola, not cocaine.
Yes, which is a hilarious clarification. Yeah, Flight of the Bumblebee came out really good. I'm glad you liked it, Ezra. I hope we get to do more like one-off little anthology stories like that in the future. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm so glad we got to do that with Apollo Podcasts.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Shout out.
Yes, shout out to Apollo Podcasts. They are wonderful, and they let us do a crazy ambitious story on their dollar. So yeah, go download their app, please. Oh, thank you. Finished the season last night. Excellent. And now I think
we again here.
Yes, exactly. And speaking of which, we are about 6 minutes after, so I think we are going to go ahead and get started with the first episode we'll be listening tonight, which is episode 73, Après moi, le déluge. All right. Yeah, so I'm just going to mute Virginia and I, and we'll get going. Please let me know if there's any issues with the audio, because there is a little bit of flying by the seats of our pants here, me specifically, in terms of the tech for this tonight. So we'll see how this goes, but let's get going. This episode of the Sheridan Tapes was made possible by our backers on Seed and Spark: Claudia Elvidge, Derek Schultz, Lex Wayne, and Kirsten Smith. If you'd like to support the show as well, please go to patreon.com/homesteadcorner. For as little as $5 a month, you get early access to ad-free versions of episodes, a special weekly behind-the-scenes podcast, and patron-only AMA live streams. Before we get started, this episode contains strong elements of existential dread and terror, mentions of medical abuse, institutionalization, and police corruption, and discussions of violence, gore, and a near-death experience. Content warnings and a full transcript are available in the show notes.
What have you got there? Now, I'm not as scary as all that.
Sorry. It's just... You surprise me, is all.
I tend to do that. Want one?
No thanks.
Don't smoke?
No, but my partner hates the smell.
Fair enough. So, what do you have there?
Oh, it's an EMF scanner. It detects changes in electromagnetic fields.
You a scientist, then?
No, not really. My dad was the scientist. I got it from him.
And what's it tell you? I could hear that racket all the way over here.
I don't know. I've never seen readings like this before, but I think it means something bad is coming.
What? Like what happened up in Agate Shore?
No, I'm scared it's something worse. Something bigger. Here. In Oslo.
If that's true, then it's about damn time. Oslo's been due a reckoning for a while now.
What do you mean?
Don't let the desert charm fool you. This whole place is rotten to the core. Far as I'm concerned, flood wiped out the wrong town.
But Agate Shore was abandoned.
And
people still live here.
wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Wilt thou sweep away? No, I guess there are still good folk, even in this town. But the ones in charge put them on a path whether they know it or not. And they don't fight it. If nothing changes, it's going to spill out in death sooner rather than later.
You seem awfully sure about that.
I've been around a while. Seen a few things. And everywhere I go, the pattern's always the same. It might take a while to get there, but it always comes round. Always.
Does it have to, though?
Come again?
Does it have to happen like that, or can people change it?
Ethos, anthropos, daimon, Anna. Wherever you're going, whatever you do next, it's yours to decide, yours to shape. Trust your instincts and listen.
You brought me this far, Dad, and I'm thankful for that. But I think we both know I have to take this last step on my own. Maria, are you up yet? It's time to go.
You've reached the office of Edgar Morrison, OCPD. Leave a message.
Good afternoon, Edgar. This is Dr. Ellis Spengler calling regarding the matter we discussed during our last conversation. Now, I understand you might be hesitant to reach out by phone, but we would like an update as soon as possible. You know how to reach me. Hello, Edgar. Ellis Spengler again. I'm not sure if you got my last message, but I just wanted to check in and confirm you're still able to make it to our meeting next week. Now, I know speaking in person isn't all that convenient, but I don't think we have a choice in the matter. If we don't hear from you, we'll assume it's still a go. Call me if anything changes. Spengler again. Where were you last night? I waited for nearly 6 hours and not a sign of you. I understand your movements are being more closely observed after that article, but Christ, Edgar, do you really think a reporter would follow you all the way out to Scalo of all places? Hell, I almost couldn't find it myself, and I knew where I was going. And speaking of reporters, how on earth did they find out so much about you? I thought you had your records locked down tight. If people find out about the MK project, or God forbid, the facility... Anyway, call me as soon as convenient. Sooner, if possible. I'm getting on a plane to Louisiana as I speak. Morrison, what in the hell is going on in Oslo? Last I heard, these people were either dead or under your control or chasing wild geese off God knows where, and now they turn up in NOLA and completely disrupt Colton's operation? I need an update now. Yesterday, whenever. Just call me, goddammit. Edgar? I've just received word that you've been suspended by the Oslo County Commission Board. This is unacceptable. Myself and my colleagues have spent years and a not inconsiderable amount of money keeping you in your position. And now you've thrown it all away to... I don't even know what, besides not show up to work. Our other agents have failed in their attempts to replicate the psychic wheel. At this point, I have to accept that you either deliberately altered the designs, or that there's something unique about the Oslo site that we can't replicate elsewhere. In either case, we will be taking over your operations at the earliest opportunity. You were warned this would happen if you couldn't maintain control. You knew this was coming. I will not be calling again. Goodbye, Edgar.
Should be in with the files from this October, maybe November.
I'm looking there. What'd you say the designation was?
Gray 1714B. At least that's what's on the inventory.
God, he didn't keep these in any kind of order.
Who? Our late great chief of police? Not surprising, considering he forgot to come into work for 2 months straight.
You're really not scared of him anymore, are you?
What's he going to do? Even if he shows his face, he can't arrest me. And I definitely don't believe those rumors about what he did to Bailey.
Why not? Everyone else seems to.
You were partners with Lieutenant Tyler for a while, weren't you?
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, the rumor is that he and Morrison took the lead on arresting Sam before he was killed. Can you really see Bill letting that happen?
No, not really. So, what do you think actually happened to him?
Me? I don't know, and I don't care. I didn't know him that well, and he was an asshole every time we talked.
I was kind of prickly the first couple times we talked, too. Doesn't seem like you're holding that against me.
Yeah, well, you changed.
Right, here you go. Morrison's file on the Shamson fire and the signs of the mine monster. There should be something about the unconfirmed encounters in there, too.
Thanks, Nat. You're a lifesaver. Oh, me and a couple of the other detectives were going out for drinks tonight. You want to come?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'd love to.
Right, well, see you soon.
What the? Who's there? How'd you get in here?
I'm looking for Morrison.
Spengler? What are you doing here?
Oh, so you do remember me. I was hoping you would. Where's Morrison?
Chief Morrison was suspended last month. No one's seen him since November.
I know. I've been to his house. The only things left are mice and cockroaches. And if Morrison's in the wind, then he's just vanished with a significant amount of our money.
Your money? Listen, buddy, I don't know what you're talking about, but I think you
Don't play dumb with me, LaRoe. It took longer than I care to admit, but I finally made the connection between you and Morrison's linchpin for the psychic wheel. You know where Morrison's hiding. Tell me.
If you know who I am, then you should know better than to threaten me. I could kill you and walk out of here wearing your face, and no one would ever know.
I'm afraid it won't be as easy as you think. My organization has had dealings with you in your past lives. I've taken certain precautions.
You're lying.
Well, maybe I am. But I'm sure you haven't forgotten how cold it is in Petrograd.
What do you want?
I already told you. I want Morrison. His location if he's still alive, his body if not.
He's alive. I've seen him.
Take me to him. My God, look at this place. It's incredible. I wish you all could see what I'm seeing. Oh, wow. There's even some of the old program logos still left on the doors.
It's a ruined tunnel, Spengler. It's really not that impressive.
Well, not to you, maybe. But I've been waiting to see this place for more than 40 years. I just wish it was under different circumstances. I mean, look at the size of it. It's an underground cathedral built to last 1,000 years in all the nuclear fury of the Soviets. I mean, the engineering required to build it at all, much less in secret, just outside a populated area. No project in human history compares. It's a wonder of the modern world, and almost no one knows about it.
It's the dead husk of a dream that was never going to come true. That's all.
Maybe not. And certainly not with Morrison leading the charge. But our reach is greater than one disgraced police chief in the middle of the desert. And our plans are measured in centuries, not decades. We'll find a way. Eventually.
No. You won't.
What the hell, Edgar? You nearly gave me a heart attack.
You knew I was down here. There's no point of being afraid.
Well, I was. Why'd you have to jump out at me like that?
Follow.
Morrison? Morrison, wait. Come back here.
Well, I guess I'll be going now that you and Morrison are back together.
You will come with me, or I'll make sure you live to regret it. Edgar, listen to me. You know why I'm here. You know what you've done. Just tell me, why? Why did you throw away everything we've worked for? Everything we promised you?
And now we are brought into the light of truth. And he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be manifest.
Jesus, Edgar. When was the last time you ate?
Truly I say unto you, I will not eat of the bread of this earth until the first heaven and the first earth are passed away, and the sea is no more.
Spengler, I wouldn't get any closer if I were you.
Listen, Edgar, you need to come back with me. We'll get you some food and water, some fresh clothes if we can find some. Now, you need to...
Come back with you? No, I'll not be going anywhere with you. You and your ilk have held me back for far too long. I never should have tied myself to your hollow promises and empty words. I never needed you, your money, your influence, your ridiculous ceremonies. I had what I needed all along, from the moment that door was opened. You've only ever slowed me down.
You're not well, Edgar. I can help you. You know I can.
Help me. Help me. Like you helped all those poor souls in your consulting room, pleading for your pity, your understanding, your mercy. How many of them did you help?
How do you know about that?
Oh, I know much more than that, Ellis. Much, much more. I have seen you. The tearful child you once were, begging your mother to kiss you better when you scraped your knee, receiving silence and scorn that never quite went away. The quiet, fearful boy that you became, learning to fear that tremor in your father's voice that warned you of his wrath. The pompous, prideful student you became when you left for university, learning to wield your parents' name and wealth like a cudgel against any who dared to question you. And the cold, cruel doctor you became when all your insecurities at last bore fruit into the man you are now, sending all you viewed as unworthy of your grace to be locked away in the halls of institutions that would never try to cure them. But your greedy hands could only reach so far, and the world changed. You were caught, and you were given the chance to retire with dignity because you were born from an old family with old money and all the privilege it conferred. But before you did, you took your one last chance at petty revenge when your mother came to the practice and confided that she was hearing voices in the empty halls of your childhood home, long bereft of your father's brooding presence. She spent the last decade of her life locked away in a dark, dreary hospital, never seeing another friendly face before the end. And she cursed your name with her shaking, final breath.
You can't know that. You can't know any of that.
Can't I? Can't I? For my eyes are quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, dividing soul and spirit, joints and marrow, a discerner of thoughts and intentions of the heart. I know what you are, Dr. Ellis Spengler. Even as you left your work in disgrace, you were called upon by those pompous fools who think they know the meaning of shadows, of silence, of knowledge. You used the secrets whispered by your clients to blackmail and bribe your way into power and wealth and privilege of all kinds. And all this you fed into the open mouth of the beast without a name. Those fools who worship at the foot of a god whose face they cannot ever truly know, trading the knowledge of a safe and certain world for vague prophecies and mysteries that stirred their hearts to fanatic, foolish faith. From the birth of your cult to the fall of Byzantium, all the way to the schism that split you from those who sought to catalog and understand the impossible things they witnessed, rather than worship them. From then till now, you have chosen ignorance over wisdom, power over stability, and pleasure over responsibility. Say what you will about those fools at ISFA. At least they pretend to serve some greater good. At least they tried to follow their own beliefs. What good have you and your brothers ever sought, except your own endless self-gratification, filling your coffers by the blood of the innocent?
There is no way you can know any of this. It's not possible.
Isn't it?
I burned every single record myself. And you know the other sponsors are even more thorough. There is no historical record. There never has been.
misery and violence they've cut through this world cannot help but leave a trace. Just not one that can be seen or heard or touched. But in the darkness, in the shadows, there is no silence. And when all my plans had come to ruin and death seemed near, I heard a voice. My own voice. The voice your mother heard all those years ago, asking what I would do to save myself, who I would give to save myself. In my fear, I made all the promises I could think of and more. Promises I thought I'd never be able to keep. I promised it everything, everyone, to do any terrible deed it asked of me, if only it allowed me to live. And as one of the creatures of fire and stone I'd captured and lost sunk its red-hot claws into my chest and pulled out my heart, I felt myself change. The door that had been opened in this bunker, oh so long ago, finally opened again, opened fully, inside my soul. In the darkness and chaos I'd spent my entire life fighting flowed into and through me like a liquid fire, tearing holes into the world around me, through which the monsters who sought my death vanished in an instant. Alone, I wandered these tunnels, unaware of who I was or where I was going. I felt like I would drown in the power that sought to fill me, and I was lost for many weeks, no longer eating or sleeping or drinking, but feeling no hunger or thirst or fatigue. As I wandered, I found myself adrift, the cage of my body falling away as I saw and heard things I should have never known. Things long past, things far away, and things yet to come in the dark days ahead. And I realized I'd been given a gift. So I strove with the power inside my soul, wrestled with a being more great and powerful than any mortal mind could contain, and said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And I was blessed. I was victorious. And I saw the vast expanse of history stretching back to the birth of all universes, and the terror of the future which mankind shall bring forth in the days to come. And I said, behold, I am coming soon, and my reward is with me, to give to every man according to his work. I am the end of the ending, the watcher of the watchmen, the last of the first. And if my right hand offend me, I shall cut it off and cast it from me.
Ed, please, you've clearly suffered some kind of mental breakdown. We can figure this out. But first, you have to leave these tunnels
You
and come
think
with...
I'm so blind that I do not know your mind? I have failed you in your little crusade, and you intend to kill me.
No, of course not. I'm just trying to help you before you hurt yourself.
You lie. That is all you do. You and your little boys club lie and cheat and play with powers you could not possibly comprehend. You are unworthy of the world I will create, Ellis Spengler. So now, I take you from it.
Fucking hell.
Leave this place, and this city, and this desert far behind. Warn your friends, the Searchers, if that is what you truly desire. You are already on the path to your own destruction, and I will not raise a hand against the doom which you have made yourself. Go!
The Sheridan Tapes, Episode 73, Après moi, le déluge. Starring Amitola Lomas as Maria Sol, Erin Needlich-Jonas as Anna Sheridan, Joanna Swan as Strange Woman, Mike Kennedy as Edgar Morrison, Ray O'Hare as Ellis Spangler, Sophie Borjon as Detective Ramos, and Ezra J. Wayne as Ned LaRoe, with original music by Jesse Hagen. Written by Trevor Van Winkle and produced by Virginia Spots, with dialogue editing and sound design by Trevor Van Winkle. Visit thesheridantapes.com to view additional content, rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice, and connect with us on Twitter at Sheridan Tapes and on Instagram at The Sheridan Tapes. I'm Trevor Van Winkle, this is Homestead on the Corner, and you're listening to The Sheridan Tapes.
All right. Wow. I love how that music ends. It's so unsettling. It just sounds like something falling down into a very, very deep hole in the earth.
Which is, yes, very appropriate. I'm trying to, is that the one we released like week before Halloween? Like the Friday before?
I think so. Yes, yeah, that was.
Yep, because it felt very appropriate for
that. Ezra, that's a good point that I didn't think of quite in that way until now. That Morrison, the regular dude, wouldn't know that Ned thinks of them as his friends.
No, yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah. He knows things now.
Oh God, does he ever know things?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so we can just riff for a while more. If you have any questions about 73, shoot them our way.
Yeah.
Any personal questions, any questions about the series as a whole, I'm gonna pop over to the crowdfund, see if anything has changed. I know, it's my laptop. Okay, exactly. Yeah, we're at $2,032, same as when we started the stream. I'm sure the people who are here have probably already backed us on the crowdfund, but if not, go check it out. Yeah. seedandspark.com/fund/
Ezra, please don't crash Seed and Spark. No, it's all good. I definitely have done that as well.
Yep.
God, yeah, there's just so much packed into that episode and that monologue, and yeah, Mike just did a phenomenal job with every second of it. I told Virginia there were several moments. There was at least one moment where I physically just had to just go like, holy shit, like as I was editing it. Especially since we had recorded it so long ago, so it was my first time going back to those recordings in months, and I'd forgotten most of the choices that Mike made, and there were some spicy surprises in there.
Spicy surprises. Yeah. As we mentioned in the chat, we got Mike's stuff done in July and some of Ray's stuff. And then we came back in October, I think. No. End of September, something like that. And then we finished up the rest of this.
Yeah. We were supposed to wrap Ray's stuff. You can just say this, but someone forgot how numbers work and messed up the scene numbers, and so the schedule was wrong, and I didn't get the right parts of the script finalized.
It's also, we've never had to do that before, like separating production by months, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Confused.
Morrison. I think the reason Ellis probably doesn't run is because Morrison looks like a stiff breeze could blow him over at that point.
Yeah, it's probably also fascinating to look at.
Yes,
in a very scary way.
Fascinating. Yeah. Like, can't tear your eyes away, kind of, from this man who looks half starved. I imagine probably has a big old beard at this point, a great big bushy beard, and just just an absolutely just wildfire in his eyes, just like basically reciting this messed up sermon at you about your entire life.
Okay. But what if it's just a neatly shaved goatee that Morrison has spontaneously grown in this
Yes,
time?
it's how we know he's the evil version of
Yeah.
the primary antagonist of the show.
Exactly. Like, oh my God, look at that goatee. It's so neat and tidy. How is he
Yes.
doing that down here? He's not eating, but he does have that goatee.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
The mirror universe version of Morrison, except instead of being actually mirrored, he's just worse.
And just worse. Ellis is just a dude wearing socks with flip flops. Yeah.
Excuse me, they're sandals.
Figuring out how Angel shaves in Buffy. Yeah. Yeah. You know,
A reference I don't entirely get.
it's been a long time since I've watched Buffy, but I mean, everyone looks too pretty all the time in that show. It just doesn't make sense. There's a lot of,
yeah, it's early 2000s television.
Yeah, exactly. Well, other memories from this. Fun fact about Ray O'Hare, if no one else knew this, he was in some animated Batman thing some years ago where he played the Penguin. So that Spangler voice, you can kind of hear it. That would make quite a good Penguin.
Yeah, I'm looking it up very quickly.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
Did Buffy inspire
Batman
any
Final
ideas
Victory.
Batman Final Victory. Nice. Did Buffy inspire any ideas for the show? I know it's the go-to for serialized horror. I love Buffy. It was influential for me as a person. I don't know about direct influences, but it's definitely in my brain. So
yeah. Whereas I think I was just a little bit too young to watch it when it's coming out and didn't quite catch it afterwards. So I have seen like a few clips of it online. So not a huge inspiration. For me, main TV
I watched
inspiration.
it in my 20s. Yeah. So
what?
I watched it in my 20s, so that's when I finally got around to it.
Fair
what
enough.
Was your main TV inspiration?
It's Doctor Who. It's always Doctor Who.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a big one for me too.
Mm-hmm.
Love Doctor Who.
But yeah.
And Supernatural for me as well. I thought the first 5 seasons were good and they should have ended it there, and then they didn't. And honestly, I am still attempting to finish it because I'm too far deep into it. I'm in 13 or 14. I can't stop now.
It's just the sunk cost fallacy at this point.
It's the last time I watched show, I made it approximately 10 seconds, and then my body was like, absolutely not, and I
we're not doing this shit again.
Anyway,
but yeah, honestly, that seems to be the case with a lot of CW shows.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a Van Winkle question.
Focus a lot on Eldritch horror. Where did those ideas come from? I especially love the episode about the hunt. I'm guessing you mean the Wild Hunt in season 1. Honestly, a lot of initial ideas for the show, because I don't have a huge amount of experience, or like I haven't read or watched a huge amount of horror. I'm getting better at it. It was primarily listening to other horror podcasts around the time is what sparked my imagination to start going this way, and a lot of those early episodes were just making stories out of things that scared me, and like big ideas, and trying to translate those into horror set pieces, ways that appealed to me. And so yeah, that did end up with a lot of eldritch horror, a lot of kind of cosmic psychological horror, just by virtue of my own tastes and preferences, I think, which eventually kind of got clarified as the season, as like the first season went on, and as the kind of mythology and kind of, tone of the show became solidified during that time. But yeah, I mean, the Wild Hunt, the episode about the Wild Hunt specifically came from my own interest in that kind of mythology, and also, when I was younger, I did always, my parents, my family and I always used to take a whole bunch of trips up to the mountains, kind of road tripping through the, basically that exact stretch of road that Anna is describing in that episode, between kind of Medford, Ashland, the Rogue Valley, and Klamath Falls, Northern Oregon. And I always did used to imagine, looking out the window at the trees whipping by, something chasing alongside the car. So I'm just like, what if there actually was something there the whole time chasing you? And then you run into it again when you're grown up.
Yeah. The remote parts of Oregon are pretty spooky.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I've driven through a lot of that as well.
Yep. That's why a lot of episodes, well, less so now. This season was more focused in the Southwest and kind of New England, but that was because we were trying to go more further afield. But yeah.
I do feel like our tone when we write things is like, because I am also from the Pacific Northwest, spent a lot of my life in Seattle, so I feel like we sort of gather around the same sorts of like tone when we write our horror.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons this works. Similar backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the first season, it was for me easier than researching like kind of, other cryptids and folklore, and I knew a lot of other shows did that. I was more interested in coming up with my own monsters and entities, kind of out of whole cloth, out of things that scared me. So yeah, with obviously a lot of inspiration owed to the Magnus Archives, the White Vault, the other shows I was listening to at the time. But in terms of specifics, I tried to just kind of draw those out of my own imagination and kind of my own thoughts. So
yeah, same.
All right, and I think we're a little past 1:45, but I think it might be just about time to get started with episode 74.
You were a Fresno Nightcrawler.
Oh,
probably.
that is
I love
excellent.
that.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to. This was the season to do it, as we were going kind of, further out there into real places, and touching on, even though we didn't really have any direct encounters with real cryptids, like the Slide Rock Bolter, the Fresno Nightcrawler. They were talked about and they were looking for them, but they didn't find them. And most of the time, when the team was looking for a specific cryptid, they usually ended up finding something else.
Yeah. Also, I have to know, how did you do that? Did you do like giant sweatpants just like cinched over the shoulders? Because that's how I would do it. And that's a delightful mental image. Please let me know.
But yeah, I think we shall old sheet and pillow.
Old sheet and pillow. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
All right. Now I think it is Amy Sterling time. I try Amy Sterling. That's when Anna Sheridan and Amy Sterling finally merge into a single being.
Yes. Also, I would love that. Yes. Please tag me on Twitter.
Yes. All right.
Amy Sterling.
All right. Let's actually start the episode then. This episode of the Sheridan Tapes was made possible by our backers on Seed and Spark: Jamie Lane Johnson, Bridget Guzowicz, Christina Faulkner, and Toby Mills. If you'd like to support the show as well, please go to patreon.com/homesteadcorner. For as little as $5 a month, you get early access to ad-free versions of episodes, a special weekly behind-the-scenes podcast, and patron-only AMA live streams. Before we get started, this episode contains brief depictions of a child drowning, strong elements of existential dread and terror, loud noises, and distorted audio. Content warnings and a full transcript are available in the show notes.
had a friend named Anna Sheridan. That much I know. That much is all I know for certain now. Her name burns through my every waking moment like a firebrand, like a ribbon of flame through the nightmare that is my existence in this place. Anna Sheridan. I remember a well and a school and a face staring down at me from a circle of light far above me as I floundered and drowned. And that face was my own. And the face staring back up at me out of the black water as I stood in front of Anna on that sunlit morning in early summer. It was mine, too. I knew it. I saw it. And I ran away in terror from a fate I could not possibly escape. Because I was already in that well. Had always been in that well. Had never walked in the sun beneath an open sky with a friend by my side. Because I was never born. Because I was never meant to exist. And as I ran away from that gaping wound in reality masquerading as an old abandoned well, someone else looked down into the waters as I struggled to stay afloat. My friend, Anna. The person I was when I walked above the surface. The one who was and was always meant to be Anna's faithful friend, her constant companion, did not remember the well. She did not see it before her eyes in the clear light of day, mocking her hateful half-existence as she carried on the empty, useless work of living. She did not remember the sight of her own face twisted in abject fear as she flailed in the oily waters that could not and did not exist at the bottom of that sealed-off well. She did not recall the terror she felt that day, except in frozen nightmares that faded with the sunrise, and the brief rush of fear each time she glimpsed the well sitting in the corner of that disused field. She couldn't know. The girl I was should never have seen that well, should never have felt that fear, should never have glimpsed her own face staring back at her from the dark. But the well was open. I did see my own face staring back at me. I gazed into the abyss, and the abyss called to me. That well remained open for as long as her hollow half-life carried out its pretense in the land of the living. For there was another story. One that was also meant to be and was pressing itself into the skin of the world inch by inch until it suffocated all others. Where I was never born. Where I never grew up, never met Anna, never existed at all. Through some accident in time or twisting of the strands of fate, history changed. Something in the past shifted, almost imperceptibly, and like a pebble knocked loose from the side of a hill, it grew into a landslide. I was just unlucky enough to get caught in its wake. My life was undone and unmade after it had already begun. I can feel it here. How that world I used to know, the one that felt so real and solid and everlasting, was nothing but the shallow, shifting surface of the waters that consumed me. How the movements of the minds within this place changed past and present and future as easily and thoughtlessly as breathing. And most of the time no one notices. Not that they try to change it. They are not the kinds of beings with wills and goals and motives. Not the way humans think of it, at least. But it does happen, occasionally. But something else happened after I was pulled out of that world. After my timeline was plucked from the cloth of history and unraveled from its weave. Something that shouldn't be possible. Anna remembered me. as the well consumed my life day by day by day, stealing my past and future from a world that used to know me. Anna remembered those missing days. In a way I still cannot understand, her mind held both histories within its grasp. And that made the powers of this place shake with a fear they have never felt before. Maybe it was because she chose to look down into that well at the moment I began to disappear. Maybe it was because her father carried that touch of the beyond with him from the day the veil tore open beneath the earth and passed it on to her. Maybe it was something else. Some unknown, unknowable movement in the world behind the world. Whatever it was, Anna remembered, long past the point where all traces of my life had vanished, and because of that, I endured. In the waves and the dark, I endured, refusing to fade, refusing to despair, refusing to die. Creatures more vast and powerful than the world I'd known came to destroy me, this blemish upon the unformed perfection of their cosmic chaos. They were driven by some instinct older than all universes, and a fear deeper than any mortal has ever felt. But I was born across the veil, and in this place the influence of my mind was greater than that of the old gods. I turned back each and every attack with a force of will I never knew I possessed, each time fleeing deeper and deeper into the unknown regions of this dark and shifting underworld. As my life above vanished completely and I realized I was trapped below, I caught glimpses of other places, other times, my own world, forever beyond my reach, but other worlds too, feeding and fed by the sea of dark and swirling cosmic energies undergirding all. Pocket universes, born of the will of eldritch beings and grieving children. Worlds like my own where there was no Anna Sheridan, no Amy Sterling, no dark and terrible wells opening up into the infinite. Dimensions I could not bear to look at for the light that shone within or the darkness that seeped from them like oil. I saw the last moments of ancient cosmos long gone dark and finally falling in on themselves. And I saw the birth of new universes, blazing into existence and life from a single point of light. A seed of existence, gifted by this place. And eventually, though I could never say or know or guess how long, I found myself standing on the shore of a strange sea. Black sands meeting black waves beneath a black sky without a moon. And there, beside a door which was not a door, on a beach that was not a beach, stood my friend, Anna Sheridan.
Or were you expecting someone else?
I was expecting my sister.
Well, Anna isn't available at the moment. I guess you'll just have to settle for her best friend.
Wait,
You can't be.
Amelia Ray Sterling, at your service.
Who?
So, you did forget me. Why am I not surprised?
Sam, who is that?
Don't you dare look away from me! He doesn't know me! You did!
Amy, please, just calm
How many
down.
summer evenings did I spend at your old home? How many times did Anna bring me for dinner with your family? How many times did your mother joke that I might as well be another daughter? You've known me since I was 6 years old, Kate! Look me in the eye and tell me you don't remember.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Not sorry enough.
Amy, stop.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to lash out like that. So, you're Bailey, huh? Have to say, I was expecting someone a bit more.
How do you know my name?
How do you know mine?
I heard it from Anna, from one of her tapes. I thought you listened to that one.
Which one?
The one about the well. It was all about Amy and what...
Don't bother, Bailey. There's no point. Chances are she'll forget about me as soon as we're done here. I should have expected this. She can't remember me because I don't exist. The same way.
What?
You asked me how I knew your name? The same way you know mine. From Anna.
From Anna?
Yes, Kate. From Anna.
You've seen her?
Just a few minutes ago down at the shoreline. Well, I say shoreline. I say minutes. That's what it felt like, at least. She was actually trying to reach out to you, Kate. Not very effectively, but she was trying. Giving you hints. I guess it was enough to get you here. Barely.
A few minutes ago? The night I saw Anna was nearly 3 months ago.
What's so funny?
Oh, sorry. It's just after so long in the source, I'm not used to jokes anymore.
That wasn't a joke.
I know. Just you people and your perspective on time. It's like a toddler who thinks they can do calculus.
Enlighten us then.
Fine. When did you last hear Anna's voice calling you, Bailey? From your perspective.
It must have been 9 months ago. When I was running from the Echo, she sent one of her doppelgangers after me, and Anna, I guess she tried to warn me.
From my perspective, Anna just finished telling you to run.
What, just now?
It's hard keeping track of the passage of time in the source. If you can even say it passes at all. It's all intensely personal. Relative. But from her perspective, it probably feels like a few hours ago. Maybe even after she reached out to Kate. Difficult to say. Impossible, actually.
You've seen her. She's in there with you?
Not on this cliff top, if that's what you're asking. And I'm not in anything. It's more like I'm pushing a part of myself back into the world to talk to you, which is fucking painful, by the way. So you'd better be thankful I did. But yes, she's here. Though where exactly, I can't know. We crossed paths very briefly, but trying to follow her through the source is pretty much impossible. Even for me.
What's that word you keep using? What's source?
The source. And you seriously don't know?
I'm trying to figure it out. I've been trying to figure it out for most of a year, and all I've gotten is hints and riddles and breadcrumbs from things that can't even explain it to me because they're so lost in their own
No
metaphors.
need to be petulant, Bailey. I'll tell you. That's why I'm here.
You're... What?
I don't know how much time I have. This projection isn't as stable as I'd like, but I think Yes, I think it's about time you got some answers. Can't promise you'll like them, but they're true. The source is complicated. We sometimes call it the world behind the worlds, but that makes it seem like just another universe, another reality. And I suppose it is, but talking about it like that is mostly unhelpful. Gives you all kinds of wrong ideas about how it works, how it feels. Those of us who exist within it, those who are human enough to even use language, we call it the source. I've been trapped here since 1993, ever since that well began to eat away at my life. I know this place better than nearly any human ever could. Not that I've been too keen to share that knowledge up to this point. I could have reached through the veil at any point and told someone what waited for them behind the dark. But I didn't want to. The whole world forgot me, left me for dead in this place. If you ask me, they deserve their ignorance. Except for Anna, of course, but I couldn't reach out to her.
Why not? Couldn't she, I don't know, try to help you?
The source is not kind to human beings, to things and people that fall through the veil, that are pulled into it from the worlds beyond. The laws of physics don't quite... They just don't. After a while, matter and energy just dissolve, like stones being worn away by the tide.
But you didn't, because Anna remembered you.
So you have been paying attention. Good. Human minds, any mind from outside the source, really exert an influence on it. And because Anna remembered me, she pushed that image through the veil, and I continued to exist even if I didn't stay entirely the same. I tried to reach out to her a few times, but it was like staring at the sun, trying to swim upstream. My existence depended on her memory, so I couldn't be in her presence without being destroyed. Not until she was in the source as well. Until we were both trapped in here.
What do you mean, trapped in there? Can't you just walk out?
No, I can't just walk out. I don't exist in your world anymore, Kate. And if I tried to, I'd lose my connection to the one thing keeping me alive. Anna's memory, pushing on the veil.
But Anna's not here anymore.
I am deeply aware of that fact, Bailey. That's why I'm here. To make sure you find her and bring her back before I stop existing altogether. So ask your questions and ask them quickly. I'm guessing we have about 10 minutes before this projection falls apart.
Is there... The source, is it... Ned told me that it... No, that doesn't make sense. Can you...
Is my sister okay?
No. She's trapped in the nightmare I've been living my entire life. Trying to find a way out, and failing. But she is alive for the time being and still herself, though I can't say how long that will last. You can only hold on to your sanity for so long in this place.
Why didn't you just bring her out through this door? If she can survive outside the source, then she must be able to...
Finding Anna was a 1 in a million chance, Bailey. The only reason it happened at all is because we're connected the way we are. Trust me, it won't happen again. At least not before she escapes the source or she's destroyed by it. Besides, even if I could bring her here, she'd be the same half-there ghost Kate saw in her projection. She couldn't walk out that door. It might even kill her to try.
How long do we have before Anna... before she's gone? Right. Time doesn't work like that.
I could tell you how long it would feel to Anna, but that wouldn't help. If anything, you'd either panic and rush into danger or take too long and lose her. Anna couldn't tell me much, but it sounds like you've got one chance to save her. Only one, and it's coming. Soon. Very, very soon.
What is the source?
Hell. The source is hell. For me. For Anna. For any soul unlucky enough to be trapped inside. It's hell. Shapeless, sleepless, lightless half-existence with no hope of escape, where everything that makes you who you are is stripped away until you are nothing and no one. Just energy and matter reduced to their most basic forms. Then, only then, is your consciousness allowed to die. Occasionally you can see the worlds beyond the veil, see those living beneath the light of a billion different suns go about their days with a peace you can never know again. But you can't join them. Not once you've been inside long enough. I was one of the lucky ones. I had a friend who remembered me, whose mind was powerful enough to hold on to that memory as history changed around her. Most people who are pulled through the veil are completely unwritten within a couple of months. All memory of their lives gone. Like they were never even born. Because they weren't. The rest of the universe just shifts to compensate and goes on like nothing ever happened.
But what is it? A shadow world? Some kind of reflection of the real world?
It is the real world, Bailey.
It's... What?
The source is not a reflection of this world. This world is a reflection of the source. A false and hollow illusion that only feels real because you're a part of it, like a dream before you wake up. This dark and roiling ocean of unformed pre-existence is the true shape of reality. Endless chaos, infinite possibility, unknowable dangers.
I'm going to need more than that.
Of course you will. Before the first moment of time, before any world was born or any mind had its first thought, there was the source, the ageless, endless, infinite potential of all universes, unmanifested and waiting. I don't mean ageless to say it's just very old. I mean ageless as in timeless. Ageless as in eternal. Ageless as in having no beginning, no middle, and no end. There were beings within it, but they were shapeless and inscrutable as the source itself, or perhaps they were the source. Are the source. Maybe they were all one mind, seen from different angles and in different forms. Or maybe not. There might have been a whole pantheon of old gods who ruled in the silence before the worlds. But I doubt it. The source is not kind to things like identity, individuality, free choice. It wears them down, burns them out, makes them fade. But eventually, that infinite potential had to pour out into something. So the source began to waver, shifting in waves of probability like the wind across the surface of a lake. And when that wind grew into a gale and the waves crashed against the shore, universes were born. The source poured out into the dimensions beyond itself, and worlds of time and space and matter began in their hundreds of billions. Some flickered in and out of being too quickly to be seen. Some quirk of their physics not able to hold the weight of their existence. But some endured, growing out of the source into their own realities, but they were still connected to the source, influencing and influenced by the minds on the other side of the veil. All of these worlds, every possible world, exists within the source. Every point in space and time, every life, every choice, they're all just ripples on the surface, a manifestation of probabilities in the chaos that birthed them. And all it takes is a little willpower, properly applied, to push through that illusion and change it. I'm guessing that's what caused me to disappear in the first place. Some supernatural power tearing through my timeline as it passed. The well was just there to clean up the mess. But it failed. Because of Anna. And now, time itself is starting to come undone.
What do you mean?
You don't know?
No what?
I sent you the book, didn't you read it? It's all there.
What's there?
The answers, the ones in Anna's mind. I pressed them into ink and paper so you could understand and sent them to that agent. Haven't you read it?
He just got it a few hours ago. I don't think he's even ready.
Oh, you and your tiny perspectives of time are going to be the death of me!
Then just tell us, what's happening?
The end. The end of everything. One Anna dreamed about. It's happening soon. It's already started, and if you can!
Amy!
Oh, Kate, stop!
Please tell me you got all of that on tape.
Yeah, I did. Do you think she's... Who's calling me now? Hello?
Sam, where are you? I've been trying to reach you for hours.
Ren, we're at Anna's house. Reception's a little spotty out here.
Is Kate there?
Yeah, she is. What's going on?
Something's happening at Merriweather. Something bad. I don't know how long we have, but we need you back here. Both of you. Now.
We'll be there as soon as we can. We need to get back to Merriweather.
That's nearly 14 hours away.
I'll drive this time. Not like I'll be able to sleep anyway, not after what Amy told us.
Who?
Here. Listen to this. The Sheridan Tapes, Episode 74, Abyssus Abyssum Invocat, starring Meredith Nudo as Amy Sterling, Virginia Spots as Kate Sheridan, Trevor Van Winkle as Sam Bailey, and Sam Taylor as Ren Park, with original music by Jesse Haugen. Written by Trevor Van Winkle and produced by Virginia Spots, with dialogue editing and sound design by Trevor Van Winkle. Visit thesheridantapes.com to view additional content, rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice, and connect with us on Twitter at Sheridan Tapes and on Instagram at The Sheridan Tapes. I'm Trevor Van Winkle, this is Homestead on the Corner, and you're listening to The Sheridan Tapes. right, we're back. We got a couple of questions that I just figured should just answer in person now that we're here. But
Well,
how long were you waiting for that, Virginia?
Since this episode started playing.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Let's see. From Anna, are you still updating Homestead on the Corner? Sort of. If you're referring to the Homestead on the Corner website, it's mostly just become the place where the episode web pages and the transcripts live. I haven't done a dedicated blog post on there, I think, since 2019. Maybe something in 2020, but it's been a hot minute. But in terms of the Homestead on the Corner feed and the podcast, the Flight of the Bumblebee special was technically designed as another one of those standalone stories, basically story 11 out of that original 10 episode run, and kind of a continuation of that format. But that's, yeah, we haven't been updating it very much, but it is still there. And hopefully more stuff will be, more stuff will be coming there at some point, but we'll see. Thank you, Wonder Ginger, about the comment about the music. I feel like that's really an area I'm growing in as an editor, is figuring out when to use the music and, more importantly, when not to. Because for a while I felt like it was just, I was trying to do wall-to-wall music with, not, I mean, a decent library of tracks now, but not enough of a library where that wouldn't get repetitive and annoying and, law of diminishing returns and all that. These last few episodes, I've been much more comfortable with letting moments play out without music and just land that way, and being really intentional about where I use the music. Really, I think a lot of that is where a lot of that came from, was listening to the whole Apollo Creators Showcase when that came out, and just hearing all the other great work people had done and how much people were able to do with silence in audio drama and with, a lack of music, and be like, oh yeah, we don't need to have music all the time, because that is a pitfall I deal with as someone who mostly has a background in film. And how many tracks has Jesse written for the show? Let me actually look that up, because I don't know entirely off the top of my head. Let's see. Hold on, I'm just going to open something here, move that over there. Let's see. How did you get into making audio dramas for ourselves? I mean, for me, it was really just, just seeing all the amazing work that people have done in other indie audio dramas, and realizing how much potential there was there to tell stories without needing a massive budget or studio backing or anything like that, and that I could just do that by myself with the help of my friends, because that's always kind of the way I, again, going back to producing short films in high school, it was that kind of approach, but I never had the time or the money to really make them the way I necessarily wanted them to, whereas audio drama gave me a whole lot more freedom in terms of the stories that could be written and told. Yeah, I think it was really just kind of like, just seeing the amazing work other people had done and just saying, you know what, I could try that. And 3-4 years later, here we are.
Yep. And I kind of just got pulled into Trevor's work when we met and first knew each other in Mammoth. So that is how I got into it. Though I have a background in theater and writing, and years ago when I was a theater student, there was this little company called the Chatterbox Audio Theater that some people that I knew in Kansas City were responsible for running. It's no longer active. But I remember being super impressed by the stories they told through audio, and was like really captured by that, and was like, oh, I want to do that someday. So that was sort of the first little thing that stuck with me. Other than, I guess, also listening to War of the Worlds with my aunt when I was in like middle school. She was like, listen, she was a teacher, so she was like, we're gonna lay in this dark room and we're gonna listen to War of the Worlds. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, holy shit, that was so cool. So
yeah. Oh, earlier influence for me as well was when I was growing up, my family had the box set of the Chronicles of Narnia audio dramas that were produced in the early 2000s, and we wore out the CDs basically on every single long road trip we ever had. And I think the first piece of that I actually got was an actual physical cassette tape of like the behind the scenes of the production of that, just by itself. And I also listened to that over and over again. I was kind of obsessed with how they did the sound effects and the way they brought it to life.
That's a good origin story. That should come up more often.
It should. Like I always kind of forget it, but yeah, that and like and on a similar note, we had the box set for the original Star Wars trilogy with the whole behind the scenes, the Empire of Dreams documentary. And I think the part of that always fascinated me the most, besides like the ILM miniature stuff, I think that was kind of the thing that had the biggest grasp on my imagination as a kid. But besides that, the segments about Ben Burtt and how he brought all the amazing sound effects and world building of that story to life. I always found that fascinating. Okay. Is there any particular genre? Yeah. Virginia.
I want to get into comedy. I really do. I want to write a comedy. I am possibly working on an idea or a pitch for a sci-fi comedy. We will see. Yeah. But in any case, I just want to work on comedy at some point. And I just want to try as many things as I can. Yeah. So that's
honestly,
me.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Yeah, I've touched on a lot of genres, like through the Homestead on the Corner anthology. The whole idea of that was try as many genres as I could. So I feel like I really at some point I want to do a full on like a heist story, like a Ocean's 11 style, just intricate heist piece. And I actually had plans for that before COVID hit. That was going to be story 11, the original story 11 of Homestead on the Corner. But one, I don't think I was a good enough writer at that point to deliver on that, because boy was I struggling with that script. When I got every time I tried to get started on, it's like I have no idea how to tell this story. But yeah, I would also love to try comedy again. I did a little bit of a rom-com with Worlds Apart. No, that was more sci-fi, but that's also probably not where my strengths lie as a writer. If I'm being honest, comedy is really hard. Yeah. From Wonder Ginger, this is such a basic question. What's the inspiration for the Sheridan tapes? I've mentioned Doctor Who. For me, that was my introduction to any kind of horror, really, because I just don't really watch horror films. It was never my genre growing up, but then like Doctor Who with, episodes like Blink and, the scarier elements, I always found that really appealing. Like that's my level of horror. And just the storytelling of that show has a lot in common with the Sheridan tapes. Additionally, I have to say there was a lot of inspiration initially from the Magnus Archives, just because that is what I was listening to when I first started writing the show. And I was just so impressed with the way that show was structured and developed over its seasons. So that was a huge inspiration for me. And then bits and pieces from a bunch of other, sci-fi and fantasy stories I've read or watched over the years. All thrown in a blender and passed through the filter of the Sheridan tapes. Don't remind me of the season 1 announcer, please. No further questions.
No further questions. Lucy, I'm glad you're excited by the sci-fi comedy idea. I hope it's something that can come to fruition. Collabs that we absolutely want to do or actively pursuing. TBD. There is stuff. and we hope we can tell you about it soon. It's connected to some pretty exciting news.
Yes, that we can't talk about.
Yeah,
but things are moving and shaking.
Yeah,
but we'll cut off before we're assassinated by it.
Right. I mean, I feel like I would love to do more crossovers with other shows out there. Maybe some like post-canon Sheridan Tapes crossovers with some other horror shows. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, we had so much fun doing the crossover with Apocalypse songs this season.
Yes.
We just would love the chance to play in other people's playgrounds. So.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Ezra. Season 1 did not have an announcer.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should probably get started with the finale.
Let's do it. Have you ever considered something like 9 to Midnight or really anything with Rusty Quill? I mean, yeah, I would love to work with Rusty Quill. Don't know how to make those connections, but absolutely. Oh, that's an interesting question from Wonder Ginger. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. I would say the overarching, answer to the mystery, the direction the show is going, no, that hasn't changed. But there are a lot of layers that Virginia brought in when she joined in at the start of season 2, and a lot of things that shifted. Like, if you want to say what you're like from your perspective, but
yeah, from my perspective, I think it's at a point, like, we've gone back and forth on ideas so many times that a lot of it is really hard to parse apart, like, what truly did change in the process, because some of it too was just like working out what are the details that get to the end point. So it's kind of impossible to say how the details would have originally been, because it was just story planning in general. But certainly the mushroom stuff would not have been part of the show. The dolls stuff, those are two of my major contributions. And then like I think I was the first one to write Ned for episode 29. Yeah,
definitely. And yeah, it's I do have sitting on my hard drive somewhere a very, very old early draft of a series Bible that never really came to fruition. Like when I was just trying to think through where is the show going by myself. And by the end of season 1, that was fully in the bin, just because of the way things changed during the writing process for that, and the way characters evolved. And so I'll need to take a look at that.
There's like
and
a
see,
lot of change either way.
Yeah, I'll need to take a look at that and see if it's if I need to wait until this series is done to talk about that fully. But at some point, I do want to do some kind of live stream or video or something, just going through that and just talking about the version of the Sheridan tapes that might have been if I had been stubbornly stuck to a document I was just making because I felt like I needed more direction, before I knew what the show really was. Because I think that might be an interesting exercise in like alternate history.
Yeah, for sure. That would be interesting to see. And yeah, Adriana, you can put us in contact with anyone. That's cool. You can how I don't know how you want to do that, but yeah, absolutely. Love to get connected with more people.
Some of the tags you use, like character betrayal, are actually very good and intense, but how do you know where to stop? Do you mean in terms of content warnings, or just in terms of how to stop when we touch on like intense subjects like that? Yeah. Really, I think it helps that Virginia and I, both have each other to take a look at scripts and really say, okay, this one might go a little bit too far. So that's a big help
Yeah.
of having another set of eyes on it. I also think it is just, a matter of feeling it out. We don't want the series to become like grim and nihilistic because neither of us are really interested in stories like that.
Right.
I think for us, it's more of a maintaining a balance between the horror and also that there are still good things in this universe that are worth fighting for and make things worthwhile.
Yeah, I think we spend a lot of time with the characters now too, that like it has to make sense for who they are, even if it's a shitty decision that they're making.
Yeah.
It has like, and
because
if
oh
we're
boy, they make
leading
a
up
lot
to
of
something,
those.
yeah, like if we're leading up to something like a character betrayal, we will usually plot in advance, like, okay, and these are the three choices that they make before that in order for that one to make sense. Yeah, we did like an Excel spreadsheet for this season, which was super helpful, where for each episode we had like the major characters plotted out, and if we knew some major was coming up for one of them, we made sure in the squares before that it led up to something, that we saw little bits of what led up to that. So that was incredibly helpful, especially since we both pick a couple scripts at a time, we go off and write them, so it's helpful to just keep on the same page like that.
And then there's always some rebalancing that happens in the final edit to the episode, and just bringing everything into fully
and finding the right dialogue to show that with, and all the script things.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like the biggest and like most heart-wrenching moment was for me at least, and I think it's for a lot of people listening as well, was Ren's speech in episode 69.
Yes, that hurt. Yeah. And we tried our best to have that make sense.
Yeah. And yeah, it's something that still needs to be worked through, I think, by all of these characters, but yeah, we very much had to be like, okay, what is going to motivate Ren to do this? How have we characterized Ren up to this point? How do we reinforce, Ren is a character who sometimes just kind of gets an idea stuck in his head and just keeps going with it long past the point where it might be a good, idea to stop, and then Caldwell pushing him constantly through the entire season to, be more, controlling, more, more driven towards her goals, basically. Yes, we just tried to make, like Virginia said, those choices have a sufficient amount of build up to seem like they come from, to make sure they come from a place of genuine character, and yeah.
I want to address the comment from my brother re-releasing what could have been. After all, every possible universe now exists. Exactly.
Yeah.
Somewhere there is a grim dark Sheridan tapes. We may not write it, but it's out there.
I don't want to write it because
no, that sounds depressing.
So many shows lose me because it's just
yeah. Thank you, Ezra. And yes, Ezra is amazing as Ned. Amazing. Is it too spoilery to ask if we may or may not get I think that's Happy Ever After?
I mean, we do a lot of musing on happy endings in this episode. But,
not sure how to answer that, but
yeah, I think it might be a little too spoilery.
Yeah. But we've thought it out a lot. We have thought it out a lot, so I hope people will be satisfied with it.
And from Wonder, I'm really intrigued by the character of Anna. How did you come up with her? She's very unconventional as a hero. I mean, yeah, honestly, I'm trying to think. Yeah, where did she come from? Because she started in an earlier episode. In the story Disquiet for the original anthology, where she was characterized a little bit differently, but that's just because she was fully on a mission and we didn't get to see kind of the other sides of her. I'm not entirely sure. I think that just came from like, just mining out these different sides of her through the tapes and trying to make her feel complicated and real and, flawed, but also very capable. It's the same way, I think I develop a lot of my characters is starting with, some aspect of my own personality or other people I know, kind of mining that out and then building layers around it, to create those levels of complexity and dimensionality that, make for interesting characters. And yeah, I think, yeah. I don't have a good answer for that. I don't have a super good answer for where any of these characters come from. I think maybe largely because I've been living with them now for, 3-ish years.
Yeah,
they're just
it's like, what do you
Anna's
mean there
Anna.
didn't used to be an Anna Sheridan? What do you mean? Yeah.
So yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, I
appreciate that comment.
Yeah, and I tried to make her, more authentic and messy and just, again, real human beings. Yes, you can ask questions about 75, but I think we should probably start episode 75 here because we've gone a little past time when we said we would.
This is great. This is a very active set of questions. It's really, really fun. Thank you for all of it. Yeah, Maurice is like, oh boy.
Yes. It's time for the Jerry Price show.
Oh my gosh, in this cold open, Maurice, you killed it. Yes.
So yes, we're going to get started, so please hold those questions for the end if you have anything left over. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with episode 75, Ad Nihilo. Hi everyone, Trevor here, writer and creator of the Sheridan tapes. Well, we've made it. Season 3 finale. These 25 episodes have been so much fun to create and share with all of you, and the last 6 months have honestly just flown by. But now, with episode 75 complete, it's time to begin preparation for the real home stretch. The Sheridan Tapes has always been planned as a 4-season, 100-episode run, and we're about to turn the corner into our final season. It's an exciting and emotional time for all of us here at Homestead on the Corner, and we have a number of special celebrations planned in the next few weeks. So stick around after the credits for announcements and updates about the final season. But for now, this episode of the Sheridan Tapes was made possible by our backers on Seed and Spark. Evie Bun 125, Sam Taylor, Rose Noah Chatko, Carolina Hope Breckel, Fennec Foxfire, Anthony Sigmund Lowry, Aries, and Marktoria Valentine. Thank you so much for your support. Before we get started, this episode contains strong elements of existential dread and terror, peril, unreality, memory loss, implied gore and body horror, loud noises, earthquakes, distorted audio, and severe character injury. Content warnings and a full transcript are available in the show notes.
Oh, yeah, just give me a second. They're not here anymore, buddy, remember? They just stopped by to get Maria's van out of the backyard. Hey! What did I say about that? Good boy. There you go. All right. Jerry Price, notes for Robin's return by Thurgood Vice, January 30th, 2020. I thought you said you were getting out of this town for good, Robin, said Tucker, grip tightening on the handle of his baseball bat. Will told me you were smart enough not to come back. I thought I was done with this town too, Robin muttered, head still ringing from the impact. But I had unfinished business. God, could you stop writing cliches for 5 minutes, Price? Jeez. It's this town that isn't done with me. Oh, trust me, Tucker replied, knuckles going white. This town was done with your bullshit a long time ago. If you need another reminder... No. One's enough. Robin winced, rubbing his forehead. He can already feel a small, hard lump swelling over his right eye, but at least he didn't have a concussion. That meant he still had time to make his case before Tucker lost his temper. And since time's arrow only flies one way, since cause always precedes effect, where the hell did that come from? Oh, that's pretty much all I had for Chapter 4 anyway. Let's move on to structural notes. The Act 2 turn still feels a little weak. Robin had a clear reason for taking on the heist and run, but it still feels forced for him to do the same thing here. I'm trying not to see that as a sign of how the whole book is going to feel, but it's... I don't know. Right now, it almost feels like he's being forced into taking the job. Not like any of the other characters are forcing him. More like he already knows that this has to happen, since it's already happened, and he's just stuck on a path that was chosen for him. Like it's... fate. 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 I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my... he's the master of his own fate. That's the key to his whole character. I can't lose sight of that now. I had a couple of ideas for how to address it, but they're... Oh! Jesus! How old is this? Best by November 20th, 2019. Shit. That better not be coyotes again. Russell! Here, boy! I've also been giving a lot of thought to Act 3. About the ending. Or endings in general, I guess. Run felt like it wrapped up on a pretty final note. The heist ended, Robin left town, and even if everything wasn't perfect, it was better than it was before. He'd won. But it didn't feel like it was going to last. He made enemies, and they were going to find him eventually, if the book did well enough to warrant a sequel. But that's the thing, isn't it? He could only be happy if he didn't succeed. If the book didn't succeed, I mean. But it did. The story didn't end, even though it could have ended there. Maybe it should have ended there. Maybe happy endings are only possible if you end the story before it's too late. And looking at where things are heading now, I don't know how happy that ending can really be. Every time he comes back from a victory, the stakes just get higher and higher, and sooner or later, it will get to the point where it's just impossible for him to win. When the deck's too stacked, when he's climbed too high and all he can do is fall, even with the help of others, even with allies and support and friends, even with all his power, sooner or later the question would not be what would you do to save yourself, but do you believe you even should be saved? What the hell's going on? Russell? Russell! Why are you still out there? Get back inside! What is happening? Hello? Is anyone out there? This is private property. You cannot be... Oh my God. Not here. When noise was everywhere, it told, increasing like a bell. Names in my ears of all the lost adventurers, my peers. How such a one was strong, and such was bold, and such was fortunate. Yet each of old. Lost one moment knelled the woe of years. saw them, and I knew them all. And yet, dauntless, the slug horn to my lips, I sat in blue. Child Roland to the dark tower came.
Fucking keycard. Huh. Oh, excuse me, Dr. Park.
Yes, Mary?
Maddie, actually.
Right, sorry. Just haven't been sleeping well lately.
No problem at all. Do you know why my keycard isn't working on room 12? I'm on the schedule for turn down today.
You didn't hear?
Hear what?
Several members of the consulting staff left Merryweather a bit suddenly. We're converting their rooms back to storage.
Oh, right.
I guess the memo didn't get to maintenance yet. Sorry about that.
No problem, Dr. Park. Thanks for letting me know.
Sure.
Nobody tells me anything around here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Marshall. I just don't see what the issue is.
I told you. I'm trying to close out the paperwork for several of your consultants, but the system keeps rejecting them as fraudulent.
No need to take that tone with me. I heard you the first time. You just haven't explained why they're being rejected.
Come on, Caldwell. Bill Tyler and Robert Quincy.
What about them?
The address on their W-9 is in the city of Oslo, Nevada. I looked it up. It doesn't exist.
I beg your pardon?
I understand wanting to fudge some numbers, Dana, but could you at least pick something that actually sounds like a real place? Are those even their actual names?
Max, Oslo is a real city. I sent Ren there on assignment 2 months ago. We've had surveillance on that apartment for most of a year.
Well, tell that to the IRS. According to their records, there is not, and never has been a city of Oslo in Churchill County.
Churchill... Hold on. I'm pulling up the files for those operations now.
Dr. Caldwell, even if it's on our internal records, we can't file their returns unless they have a legal address to...
There. Nearly 6 months of continuous surveillance of the Tyler Quincy residence, along with the Oslo County Police Department headquarters, and...
Dana, you still there? I think I've got a bad connection. There's a lot of static on your end.
I'm still here. The data seems to be corrupted somehow.
Corrupted? How?
What were we talking about?
There we go. Should be safe for you to work now. We can switch off the power to this room completely if we need to.
No need. I shouldn't have to get into the wiring that much. Sounds like a pretty easy fix.
If I had a nickel.
What does that mean?
Nothing. Just, we've had a hell of a time keeping this place running since we got here. Lost a lot of good men doing it.
Like, they quit, or...
Here, let me show you the problem.
So, you've been working here for long?
since last year. ISFA's had this place since the 80s, but they only really started using the lower levels 2 years ago.
And what do they, do here?
What don't they do down here? Forget I said that. It's probably a violation of my NDA.
NDA?
One of many. Don't ask too many questions or they'll make you sign one too.
Wait, seriously?
Oh, yeah. Word to the wise, never underestimate how paranoid ISFA can be. And don't take a job here.
Well, it's a little too late for that, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is. Contract work should be fine, though. You'll be in and out in no time. Here it is. We keep getting intermittent outages on the raids over there.
Oh, no kidding. This looks like original wiring. You said this place was built in the 80s?
Yeah, why?
Well, the circuit definitely was not built to handle this kind of load. I'm surprised it's not causing you more problems. I might actually need you to switch the power off. This is going to take longer than I thought.
Oh, right. I'll go do that. Hang tight.
I can probably find a way to optimize with the other circuits on this floor, and the lighting grid's all LED, so there should be... Hey, I think you did something wrong. This server's back on. Hello? Are you still there? I can't get started if the servers are powered on.
What? The power should be off by now.
What? No, the servers are...
Oh, there, Nai. No need to be afraid. The power is still off. I just don't need it anymore.
Hello? Excuse me, can you tell me where Bren... Hello? What is going on? Hey, can someone please tell me what is going on?
Ren, where are you? What the hell is going on?
I guess that's one way to get their attention.
We just drove 15 hours through the desert for this. I'm not fucking around now that we're here.
Oh, thank God you made it. Is Sam with you?
Yeah, we're both here, Red. What's happening?
It's Manfredo. Apparently crashing the server back in November didn't actually kill him.
God damn it.
Why is the power still on?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't think a blackout would help him this time. Maybe he can't do it anymore.
No way we're that lucky. We need to get down to the server room, see if there's a way to stop him.
I'm already here with all the technicians we have left. Can you make it down to that level?
We should be able to, so long as the elevators are still...
Ugh. You had to say something, didn't you?
Sorry.
Ren, can you still hear me?
Okay, so... elevators aren't working.
We can still take the access tunnels, right?
So long as you're up for a climb. It's a long way down.
Well, hurry up then.
You good?
How far do we need to go?
About 10 levels. It's towards the bottom of the facility.
Right. Okay.
Hey, at least we don't have to... Ugh.
What?
Nothing. There's something on the rungs. Be careful. They're a bit wet.
Wet?
I mean, more slimy, actually.
What is it?
I don't know. I can't see in here. Do you still have that flashlight you were using?
Yeah, 1 second.
Holy shit.
Is that...
Move.
How did it get in here?
I'm gonna need to use my Celia to bypass the security systems. cleaners must have missed some.
How is it growing this fast?
Less talking. There might be spores in here.
Oh, God.
We're almost out. Just here. Okay, it's open. Come on.
Manfredo and Amanita.
Yeah, I guess so.
Why? Why both of them? Why now?
Are you sure we don't have another rover in storage?
No, Dr. Park. That was the last one. Someone needs to go in there.
Got it. What are you waiting for, Dana?
Ren.
Oh, thank God you made it. I was worried about the elevators.
They were out. We had to take the access tunnel.
Ren, we need to warn everyone. There's Poribus oraculi growing in there. Lots of it.
What? How did... You know what? Never mind. I have a few of the techs working on getting emergency power up and running. Hopefully we don't need to evacuate before then.
Wait, is that Dr. Caldwell?
What the hell is she doing in there?
As far as I can tell, talking to him. To the Ouroboros.
Why hasn't she shut the server down yet?
We've been trying. Every time we shut off the power, Manfredo turns it back on. It's like he's drawing power from somewhere else, but I don't know where.
The source.
What's that?
Never mind. Too much to explain.
Has anyone tried to get to Caldwell?
Several people. As soon as anyone gets close enough to the console...
Shit. How many?
At least 5. Not including whoever was in there when he reappeared. That was before I got here. I've been trying to keep anyone else from going in. We tried sending in one of the rovers we had upstairs, but...
Come on, Sam.
Wait, what?
We need to get her out of there. Now.
Kate, we can't afford to lose you two at a time like this.
You won't lose us. Sam, you can push back if he tries anything, yeah?
I think so.
Good enough for me. Let's go.
Kate, let's just think about this for 1 second.
We don't have a second, Ren. It's here.
What's here?
Anna's apocalypse, Ren. We're out of time.
How do you know that?
You wouldn't believe us if we told you.
Sam, let's go.
We'll talk about this later.
I should hope so. Good luck.
Caldwell.
Messages.
Caldwell, can you hear me?
Do you mind? Can't you see that Dana and I are having a lovely chat right now?
Caldwell. Hello?
Oh, if you insist on interrupting us, I'll just have to remove you from the room.
You will not touch her.
You little spoil sport. I wasn't actually going to.
You were. And if you try again, I will send you screaming back to the void which birthed you. I will burn your name from the history of this world and make you less than nothing. I will undo you from every place and time and world you've ever known and return you to the dark of oblivion you so deeply fear, and you will never return.
Someone's learned a thing or two since Thanksgiving.
It's been a very long couple of months.
Caldwell, look at me.
Kate, what are you doing here? Sam? What's going on? Weren't you two in Fresno?
A day ago, yeah.
A day? How long have I been in here?
Sounds like it's been a while, Dr. Caldwell.
Oh, God, I am starving. What time is it?
Caldwell, look at me. What were you talking about? What did he tell you?
He can hear you, you know.
We were talking about entropy, about the end of the universe, heat death. I always thought that matter and energy would just endlessly spread out across space, getting further and further away until the last stars burn out and there's nothing left of the universe we know. That it would just stay that way forever.
While I know that isn't true, you assume your universe is the only one in existence, that it's a closed system wearing itself out like an old pocket watch. But I'm not from your universe. I'm outside it. Pure information. And like I told you before, information is the only eternal thing in existence.
When we want to hear your bullshit, Manfredo, we'll ask. Only us non-murderers get to talk right now.
Non? How many?
Doctor,
How many?
At least 5. Probably more.
Gods.
They are not dead, Daniela. I have them all here with me, on the other side of the veil. You want to hear their voices?
Would you stop lying to her?
Sam.
I have seen what happens to human minds beyond the veil, Manfredo. I have heard the voices of those lost in the sea beyond the sky, crying out in pain. How long will it be before the ones you've taken are worn away like chalk beneath the waves, like stones beneath the wind? The source of all that was and was not and will be again is not a place where human minds can dwell, Ouroboros. And we will not hear your lies.
Oh, very good, Samuel. Very clever. I thought I might just draw this one in, but you know all too well that we're all cheats and liars. It's the only way for our kind to exist.
What is he saying?
That we're both too late, Daniela. He has won. He is coming. And he shall drag this universe down to hell before you or I or the thing growing in the cracks of your facility can do a thing to stop him. All that's left for our kind is to find islands in a storm. And you've spent years and billions transforming these tunnels into a place of power.
Oh my god.
What is it?
He's not trying to take people this time. He's trying to take the whole facility.
Caldwell, you need to order an evacuation now.
We can't just abandon Merriweather like that. There has to be a way to shut him down before
Wren's tried. The other technicians have tried. You know how smart they all are. Do you think they would have missed something?
We can't let them die for nothing. After everything we've done.
Doctor, it's too late. Your guilt isn't going to save anyone. It's just going to get you killed.
What do you think we should do, Sam?
I could try pushing Ouroboros back across the veil.
I'd like to see you try.
But if I lose, then he'll destroy me. And he's been around much longer than I have. He knows more than I do. I don't think that's a fight I can win, not on the offensive. And Kate's right. We don't have time.
So, you're saying?
Cut our losses. Let Ouroboros and Heraculi deal with each other while we get out of the crossfire. Live to fight another day.
So falls Merriweather. Signal the evacuation. Let's hope there's enough power left in these batteries to get the elevators running.
Wait. Really?
Alia jacta est, Kate. If the price for all of my mistakes is losing this place, then I'd say I'm getting off pretty lightly.
Samuel Isaac Bailey, recording for ISFA Internal Records. Final mission report, January 30th, 2020 at 6:21 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The evacuation of Merriweather is complete. They're still checking to make sure everyone got out before we board the transports, but as far as I can tell, we all managed to avoid the sections of the facility most affected by Manfredo and Amanita. Maybe not Amanita herself, but I don't know how much use there is trying to separate her from the colony at this point. I haven't felt her presence or seen her around at any rate. Maybe she was needed elsewhere? God knows. Can't say I'm gonna miss this place. Manfredo was already pulling entire chunks of the building into the source by the time we got out, and it's only a matter of time before the structure fails completely. They have us at what they hope is a safe distance. Apparently they were storing a rather, large amount of rocket fuel on the upper levels. Would have been nice to know earlier. Or maybe not so nice. I doubt any of us would have liked living down there with that over our heads. I thought Merryweather might end up being some kind of sanctuary, but that was never going to happen. Honestly, Terry had the right idea from the start. He's going to be insufferable when I tell him. I've been thinking about what Amy said, as much as I could be, given everything. Hannah's alive. She's trapped in the source. She knows who I am, and she's been trying to reach out to me from the beginning. I still can't quite wrap my head around that. I mean, how much of what's happened in the last year was her pushing through the veil? I don't know how that's possible, but she's been leaving me breadcrumbs to follow the whole time, even if I didn't know it. That phone call to my apartment, her warning about the echo, that page from her will, even the tapes themselves. Maria always said they shouldn't have been in her van, and if Amy's telling the truth, then... Oh, God. The tapes. They're still in my room. Come on.
What's wrong, Samuel? Feeling queasy? If you can't handle the sight of a crown-capped corpse, then how will you stand against him, who is the end of all beginnings? Him, who watches the stars go dark.
Be silent.
Why should I fear you, Samuel Isaac Bailey? My power grows with every inch of this place I claim, every secret I consume.
You will fear me. I have seen what I am, and I know. I am the one who finds what is hidden and lost. I am the one who walks between worlds on paths unseen. I am the one who will find my way to where your fears yet dwell and set them loose within your mind. You will not stand in my way if you value your existence. And I know that is the only thing you hold dear. Now let's see. That access tunnel is blocked, but there should be another one. Just whoa. Shit. He's taking the entire corridor. There's nothing there. Just a gap all the way to level 3. I can almost see the dorms from... Shit. Fuck. No injuries. God damn it, Bailey. That's gotta be the stupidest thing you've ever done. Shit. I can't get these open again. Shit, a screwdriver in it. Open sesame. left them right here. They're not here. How can they not be here?
Well. This is a fine mess y'all gotten yourselves into.
You.
Howdy, Bailey. How's life?
Where are they?
Where what?
Don't lie to me, LaRoe. I see your mind and know your thoughts in there. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
No, I really don't. What the hell's going on, Bailey?
I could ask you the same thing.
I asked first.
Something's coming. I don't know what, but it's bad. Two entities are trying to claim Merryweather before it hits. Ride out the storm.
Oh, shit.
What is it? Do you know something?
I wish I didn't.
Well?
It's Morrison, Sam. Something in the tunnels, Sam. He's changed.
Oh, God. It's him. It's always been him.
Figure y'all might need a monster?
We need to go.
Well, yeah, but it's not.
No, you don't understand. The fuel tank's on the upper level. If Manfreda reaches them, this whole place is gonna... Run! The final season is crowdfunding now at seedandspark.com. Stay tuned after the credits for more information. The Sheridan Tapes, Episode 75, Ad Nihilo. Starring Maurice Cooper as Jerry Price, Madeline Hamley as the janitor, Sam Taylor as Ren Park, Chris Allison as Dana Caldwell, Max Marshall as the accountant, Stephen Indrasano as the technician, Connor Bishoven as the electrician, Oliver Smith as the Ouroboros, Trevor Van Winkle as Sam Bailey, Virginia Spots as Kate Sheridan, and Ezra J. Wayne as Ned LaRoe, with original music by Jesse Haugen.
Still each breath skin and blow winter wind.
Written by Trevor Van Winkle and produced by Virginia Spots, with dialogue editing and sound design by Trevor Van Winkle. Season 3 featured, in order of appearance, Ezra J. Wayne, Mike Kennedy, Sam Taylor, Aaron Neely Chaconis, Chris Allison, Kareem Cronfley, Paul Warren, Virginia Spots, Ami Tololomas, Trevor Van Winkle, Jesse Steele, James Kane, Julian Daly, Lexa Childress, Alejandro Cejudo, Tal Manier, Adrian Gibbs, Chris Martin, Maurice Cooper, Clayton Curry, Sophie Borjon, Ray O'Hare, Liz Hull, Oliver Smith, Catherine Gavigan-Binney, Cassandra Teese, Drew MacArthur, Maxwell Apsa, Brad Colebrook, Zelda Kimball, Delvin Green, Chris Hubbard, Becca Scott, Drew Rutherford, Jenna Rose Geiser, Leslie Redman, Alyssa Gazer, Alma Meyer, Meg Honnold, Brooklyn Andler, Greg Vinciguerra, Aaron Moy, Leslie Gideon, Levi Squire, Leslie Ann Hoxie, Matthew Chaconis, Meredith Nudo, Joanna Swan, Madeline Hamley, Max Marshall, Stephen Indersano, and Connor Bushoven. Special thanks to Robin Gabrielli, Kara O'Rourke, Conrad Spots, JJ Jensen, Olivia Manning, Bowman Dean, Jay Barrow, Bridget Guzowitz, Mark Valentine, and Ashley Taylor. Visit thesheridantapes.com to view additional content, rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice, and connect with us on Twitter at Sheridan Tapes and on Instagram at The Sheridan Tapes. I'm Trevor Van Wickle, this is Homestead on the Corner, and you're listening to The Sheridan Tapes. Hi everyone. Well, congratulations. We made it to the end of season 3. We're now 3/4 of the way through the show, and Virginia and I are so excited for what we have planned next. But first, we need to be able to make the season, and that's where you come in. Right now, you can go to scenespark.com/fund/SheridanTapes4 or click the link in the description to support our crowdfunding campaign for the final season and make sure we're able to finish this story and pay all of the amazing artists who help make it possible. Plus, you can get amazing perks you can't find anywhere else, including physical cassette tapes of Sheridan Tapes episodes, exclusive t-shirts, and even a handmade cross-stitch from our very own Virginia Spots. And if we reach our stretch goals for the season, we'll be able to produce bonus episodes, commission new music from Jesse Hagen, and maybe even host a live show in LA next year. So please, head over to scenespark.com/fund/SheridanTapes4, share the campaign with your friends and family, and help us make this final season a worthy send-off to Anna Sheridan, Sam Bailey, and the rest of the Searchers. We've been building up to this for a very long time now, and we want to make it the very best we can. Additionally, there are links in the description to our season wrap party livestream on YouTube tomorrow, November 12th at 6 p.m. PST, along with a Google form to submit questions for our season 3 Q&As. If you've ever wanted to ask the writers, actors, or editors of the show anything about the story or how they do what they do, be sure to submit your questions before midnight PST next Friday, November 18th, or tune into the livestream and ask during one of the AMA sections. Finally, I just want to say one last huge thank you to all of you for listening, and especially to those who've supported us financially through Patreon or SceneSpark. You all make what we do worth doing, and we wouldn't want to tell these stories without you. So take care, and we'll see you all very, very soon. And I absolutely mean every word of that. You all are amazing. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you so much. This has been a really, really fun, excellent time with all of you. Thanks for being here.
And yes, we all want the live show to happen.
Yeah.
It's just very expensive.
Yeah, it was a little pricey. That was one of the first things we thought about for stretch goals, though. It's like, okay, well, that's the pinnacle then. That's the top stretch goal. Yeah. So, yeah. And also getting to like record our last couple episodes in person with with whichever cast we need for those last episodes. So, yeah, that would be huge too.
Isaac.
Bye, Isaac.
But yeah, we have not all been in the same room since before the show began, and I really want to make that happen.
Yeah, I think there's some key stuff that would be really special if we were able to do it in person. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm just so thankful for what we've gotten to make, and I do feel very proud of this season. So, questions about 75, totally welcome. I am rapidly running out of physical energy, so some wild shit might come out of my mouth. So it was already that was already happening in the chat. So
I mean that's why people tune.
Yes, that they need me in this sleep deprived state for entertainment.
Indeed. Real answers with Virginia.
Okay, you want to know the real shit? Just like whip my glasses off.
Oh, that's the real reason you got the glasses, not for blue light. It's just to be dramatic.
It's for the drama. Yeah. It's
Indeed.
actually just for the drama. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Lucy, I cannot believe that was your first time listening to the episode. I hope you're okay.
Loved Kate in this episode so much. How much has she changed throughout the show? A lot.
Mhm.
And I think some of it too is like Kate's introduction was entirely from Anna's perspective. So we saw the side of Kate interacting with Anna, and usually when she was either a little bit annoyed or there was some relationship strain. So
It's
I
the
feel
older
like by the-
sibling as seen by the younger sibling, basically.
right. So it's not like even that first picture of Kate was like, and that's her total picture, but it was like you got to see who Kate actually was and like choices that she was making as she encountered some scary changes in her life. And I mean, I think Kate used to be driven a lot more by fear and avoidance. Not in everything, but in the stuff that pertains to like the parts of herself that she needs to go on this journey. There was a lot more fear and avoidance. And then slowly, as she walks through it, she found more confidence, found her own inner voice. And I think like Kate coming out in episode 72 was a really cool part of that, actually, because it's like that's all interconnected. That's just Kate stepping outside literally of her home and her hometown and the things that she's always been like. So
yeah, and also
I think Kate is learning a lot from Anna by doing this.
Yeah, I mean, Kate as a character has been around, and Virginia as well has been around in the show since the very beginning. Like literally the first table read we did of the first 3 episodes, that was myself, Virginia, Aaron, and Jesse. And that feels like a very long time ago now. But also just remembering that like that episode comes very like the first time we hear Kate and the first impression we get of her is literally right after her dad has died. You know, the funeral has just happened a little, you know, in very recent memory, and obviously things are a little tense around that because yeah, obviously they would be. And so it was just I think even from that first episode I knew that wasn't the full picture with Kate. And then when I mean, Virginia, especially when you wrote episode 21 in the first season, you know, and put the focus on Kate like that and her telling her own story. And then when you came on full time, we started peeling back those layers and allowing Kate to grow. And that was one of my favorite things about season 2 was seeing that arc develop and seeing Kate grow as a character. A lot of fun.
100%.
Yeah.
And speaking of that first table read, there was a little sort of like a mini documentary about the making of the Sheridan tapes, just like it's a short video that
little
Trevor made
retrospective.
that we will release when we get to the 50% point for our crowdfunding. It's full of recordings from other table reads throughout the history of the show. It's good and it made me cry, and you are going to want to see it. So
absolutely,
when we get that to 50%. Yeah.
I just put that together like literally the morning the crowdfunder went live, because I just had a lot of nervous energy and I had to put it into making something productive, and just kind of like I've been wanting to do something like that, like a look back kind of retrospective thing, for a while now, and this felt like a good point to do it. So that'll be coming very soon. From Ezra, what was your favorite episode to write this season, for both of us? Do you have one that comes to the top of your mind?
I do. Episode 69. Nice. I loved writing that one because it was challenging. There was a lot of like big stuff that needed to come together and happen in that one. And I also didn't fully know what the creepy Anna tape would be that they were listening to and if it would tie together. And then I was also really passionate about the idea of the two couples talking in their rooms about what to do and like switching back and forth between the conversations. And so, yeah, I just really, really enjoyed writing that one. Writing Evil Ren. And thank you, Ezra. I feel good about that. Thank you, Sam. That was mine. What about you?
I think probably episode 74, just because we have been building up to that moment and that reveal and all of the big ideas in that episode for such a long time. And just to finally lay it all out and bring Amy back, and we get to see what's become of her, basically in the background of the show the entire time. That was just really a really rewarding script to write, and I'm really proud of how it came together, and especially seeing brain fart name
Meredith.
Yes, good lord, why did I short out on that? Yeah, seeing Meredith bring it to life was just such a treat. Yeah, so that was my favorite of the season.
Yeah.
It was really fun to write, like, basically the other half of episode 8 after 2 years.
Yeah. Where in LA are you planning on doing a live show? We don't know. That would depend on, we would need to hit that goal first of the 30K. And yeah, we would probably look for like a small theater outside of LA. And yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to be running out of convention center. It will be a
something that would be fairly affordable to rent.
Probably a small black box theater or something of that
kind,
Yeah. Fair enough. Oh god, all I could think about was Sam without Alan while everyone else was with their partner. Oh god. Now I'm thinking about
Well, Maria also was alone after that. Yeah.
I think Maria was just in another part of the facility breaking things. I think that was how she processed.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Oh, yes, that was really important to me when we did that in season 1, and
yeah, Maria didn't have a lot to say in 69, but when she did speak, it was explosive. So
yeah, and we really tried to lean on just how much this hurt for her, because she was the only one who knew Ren before all of this and considered them a friend, and just seeing him pull that hurt a lot. So yeah, like we said, there's some work to be done to repair all of those relationships. Yeah.
Without her friend, without her partner. Yeah.
Yeah, Maria definitely needed space, and I'm glad she's able to get it now. But obviously she will be back in the story eventually, but this just felt like the right time for her to take a bit of a step back and refocus.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucy, for that. I think I mean, obviously that I'm not saying thank you, that's not a personal thing I've contributed. That was all Trevor, but just I am proud of that too, that the show just says things like that. Another episode I really, really enjoyed writing was 63, which was the Todo Se Pasa, about Maria's Colombian family history. Really, really enjoyed interviewing Vienne for that and working with them to get the script to a good point. And thank you guys.
Just as a
standalone
really piece, it's beautiful. And especially with its place in the story and Maria's arc specifically. It was just such a good piece of writing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love 70 too, with Paul Payne. I just and like the way that Levi read the words that you wrote for him too. It was so good. I love how that came together. I love that we have a freaky little superhero in the mix now.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. You know, I do occasionally indulge in like weird little crossovers with my own other stories, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
One of the ones that was just fun because it fit so nicely into the arc of the season, and you know, work without any knowledge of the other story, but just add so many layers to Paul as a character.
And now 3 different actors have played Paul Payne.
Yes, one of the only
Different
characters in the
ages.
show who actually gets different voice actors for different ages, as opposed to pitch shifting the actors. Yeah, when you work your old OCs into your news. Yeah, basically, that's the great thing about continuity.
I guess we'll just keep listing off episodes we liked because this is fun.
I mean, this whole season has
writing...
just been so much fun.
Honestly, yeah. Like, I don't feel like I don't have any. I feel pretty strong about like every single story that we did this time. 60, the crossover with Apocalypse songs. I had a fucking blast working on that. I love that for most of the episode, it feels pretty like slow burn, pretty gentle. And then at the end, it's like, wait,
what the?
Why is that sound just a voice saying, listen, what the hell? And like working with Cassandra, and that was amazing. Working with new actors in New Zealand. I just want to go visit all of them now. They're all such cool people, such kind people. And 61 as well. I really, really enjoyed writing about the New Orleans vampires. And we got an incredibly generous, sweet note from somebody on Instagram about that one that hit me when I was having a really bad day this past week. So yeah, very proud of how that came together.
Yeah. Well, that came when I was literally on my lunch break during jury selection.
Gosh.
So
yeah, jury duty almost impacted this whole weekend. We were like, well, we might just need to put off the last 2 episodes by a week, delay crowdfunding, because fucking jury duty. Anyway, oh my god.
Thankfully got out of it the last second. Yes, but anyway. Wonder Ginger. I'm always impressed with how mysteries. How do you write them without revealing info you have? I feel like I'd always forget what the audience knows versus what I know. I feel like a lot of it is just knowing the way our show is paced and knowing it is leaving breadcrumbs and slowly teasing out the overarching mystery and knowing when those moments of revelation need to hit. I mean, it's the same way of balancing any other kind of arc throughout the show, I think. It's just,
I think it just takes some planning.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and like we read all of our scripts aloud with each other as well, which really helps clear up any like oh, this section comes across as really obvious, or like this is very confusing and it doesn't reveal enough, or yeah, so it just giving yourself opportunities to see it outside of your own brain.
Yeah.
So speaking
absolutely.
it, seeing it plotted out on something. Yeah, because it is kind of impossible if it were to just be in your head and like you see it in the script and then that's where it lives. It would be really hard to pull that apart.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not. We don't have like a big board of like what are all the clues, and we do operate a little bit on vibes sometimes, but
honestly, yeah. If it works, it works.
Vibes and spreadsheets.
It works for now.
Yes.
Yeah, vibes and spreadsheets, and getting to imitate our actors' voices sometimes when we read them to each other, which is fun. The vibes are immaculate, I will say. Thank you.
And sometimes rancid.
And sometimes the vibes are rancid. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. That's really kind of you. And
I really enjoyed 59. That was one of Trevor's with the Jovian and White Sands.
Oh yeah,
I think that is an excellent script.
That was just a lot of fun to do. To play someone other than Sam again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this was our fun and games season, so we had just basically all of our fun ideas for episodes we wanted to do before basically the final like gauntlet was thrown down. This was kind of our last chance, so that was why we ended up with a vampire episode, because we realized this is probably our last chance to do vampires in the show.
Yep.
What's your favorite monster from the show? It's hard to say.
Mine is Amanita. For sure. I love her so much.
I mean, I'd probably say the same, honestly. I mean, do you count Amy as a monster? Or
yeah, I think you can count her in the monster category. She's like on the friendly end of it for sure.
Yes. I mean, that's a big part of the show and the way we portray our monsters, supernatural entities, whatever you call them, is it's not really a hard, fast line between human and monster.
Not necessarily. Yeah, and not even necessarily good or bad. It just really depends on if you're in the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's, basically you could call all of our characters with supernatural abilities monsters, but in that case, that means Sam's a monster? Does that?
That's true.
Yeah.
But or Ned, and he's been called a monster.
Yeah. Sam and Ned, yes, favorite monsters.
Morrison's always been a monster, but now he super is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, Lucy. We had the same thought at the same time.
Yeah. And that is, that is a big part of where Ned's arc comes from and why he's such a appealing character, is that, that ambiguity and that uncertainty and that change that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the question, but yeah, the difference between being a monster, quote unquote, and being monstrous.
Yeah. Who is the monster and who is the man? The bells, 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 bells.
That is...
It's singing time, I guess.
Yep. Also, that line is literally in one of our planning documents.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah. Ezra, just want to say your script for Human just...
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah, we can include the B-sides in this too, celebrating those.
Yeah.
Sam Taylor as well with the echo and crossover.
Oh, God, yes.
Yes. And then, oh my God, why can I not remember? You wrote a B-side as well, Trevor.
Yeah, I wrote the Anna Maria one with the
oh my God,
project.
Of course, yes.
Yep.
That I was like, I'm just so tired. That's right. I loved that Ami's poetry reading.
Yes.
Yes, and then I also loved writing my little like preseason, basically like a look back on everything.
Recap
Sam
without doing another recap.
Yeah.
Basically to avoid us having to do a previously on the Sheridan tapes. Pretty much every episode.
Feeling human emotions hurts.
Yes.
Gosh, oh my God, there's been so many good things. Those B-sides were so long ago. We started working on those like almost a year ago.
I know.
Holy shit. I guess about a year ago. My God. And now we're doing it all over again.
Yep. Just turning right. Honestly, though, I feel much better about turning around and getting back to work now than I did even getting started with, Echo Wood right after season 2, because Virginia and I mean, I can at least speak for me. I did not do a very good job of managing my own energy and health during season 2, and I burnt myself out quite badly.
Yeah, I didn't either, which is why I wasn't as involved with Echowood, because I actually just needed to step back and be less involved. So yeah, it went way better this time.
Yes. Despite the fact that most of our episodes were quite a bit more ambitious than season 2 in terms of scope and sound design and casting and just
yeah, I think we just were better prepared. So
and I think this season is just, I think it helps that the season in terms of the story was just more fun than season 2, which was necessary, but it was a lot of very heavy characters processing trauma episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
In a row.
Yeah, this season was a lot more interactive and doing scenes together, and so that makes sense. Yeah, Sam's B-side about Alan.
Yeah. I'm still very proud of that one. All right. Well, any more questions for the evening? I think Virginia is about to pass out in her chair.
I am trying so hard to keep myself awake by propping myself up in creative ways.
Yeah. But if anyone has any more questions, we'll wrap up with those. But yeah, Ezra, it's nearly midnight for you, isn't it? Yes, everyone please go get a good night's sleep, and yeah. Hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. Please tell your friends about the crowdfunding campaign. Let's see, any movement on the Seed and Spark campaign?
Not right now, but that's not unusual. Late nights tend to be pretty slow. So
fair enough.
To season 4, this is empty, but to season 4.
Season 4, the final season. Oh God, we're gonna have to land this thing, won't we?
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
I'm so excited. All right. Well, take care, everyone. We'll see you soon, and have a great night. Bye.